In the run-up to 2024 elections, even as the Prime Minister has set a target of over 300 seats for the BJP and over 400 seats for the NDA, the BJP finally today released its manifesto for the elections, the Sankalp Patra, in which it has talked about Viksit Bharat. Of course, the Sankalp Patra is centered around Modi's guarantees, and the spotlight was when the Prime Minister himself unveiling the manifesto said that Modi guarantee means the guarantee that all of his guarantees will be fulfilled. Now, his presence itself is being seen as a guarantee, and the BJP, of course, is banking a lot on the popularity and the credibility of the Prime Minister. But let's look at the manifesto of 2024 elections that has been released by the BJP. But before that, let me remind you, in 2014, the party's manifesto was a lot about action on the corrupt. Remember, it came in the backdrop of the India Against Corruption movement. So many scams had come about then, from the Colgate to the 2G scams. So BJP's manifesto did talk a lot about this clampdown on black money and black marketeers. And in 2019, the situation, of course, was different. There was tension in the neighborhood. There was, of course, there was this ongoing tension and conflict with Pakistan. And the BJP's manifesto then did talk a lot about beefing India's borders, strengthening our, security mechanisms, also expediting defense procurement. It did talk about doubling farmers' income. Now, 2024 is a different game altogether. The situation is very different. The government seems to be going into these elections with a lot of confidence, and that is what the Prime Minister also hinted at today. In fact, very openly and explicitly said that work on first 100 days of the government has already started, and action will be taken on these manifesto points as soon as the elections are out on the 4th of June. Now, what does this year's manifesto of the BJP say? Some very key points. Everyone above the age of 70 gets into Ayushman Bharat, gets the government health insurance cover. Now, this is an acknowledgement that India, while large parts of India are very youthful, India is considered among youthful countries of the world. It also has a large part of geriatric population. Many of our senior citizens also need that kind of help. So this is the government's way of acknowledging that particular aspect of our society. Like many other countries, also have aging population. Transgenders are also going to get benefit of this government health insurance cover. More than that, this manifesto also expands the definition of Gyan, which is basically Garib, Yuva, Annadata, Nari. Very different sections of voters that the BJP has been trying to reach out through its politics and policies. It expands Gyan to Gyanam, including the middle class, and talks about ease of living, connectivity, affordable housing, things that are really very dear to the middle class. It also talks about, growing clusters of food, specifically focusing on Garib ki thali. It says, very symbolically, that the thali that a poor person eats has to be nutritious, and it will look at, making everything that he eats not just affordable but also accessible and also nutritious. It also talks about specific outreach to women, specifically in the area of health. It talks about special campaigns for cervical cancer, osteoporosis, and also screening for breast cancer. It also talks about special facilities for women sports persons. It talks about a serious crackdown on exam mafia. Remember, exam paper leaks have been a serious problem that the opposition has been raising time and again. It has happened across states. In fact, the centre has brought out a bill, and in fact, that's a law now, just to sort of, clamp down on the exam mafia. It also talks about diversifying crops through MSP route. Now, this is very different from what the Congress party is focusing, but more on that later. The cultural agenda of the BJP is also set here. NRC is missing from this year's manifesto. There is, of course, focus on UCC and CAA. In fact, the Prime Minister said that UCC is definitely needed for the country's benefit, and the BJP is committed to the idea and implementation of it. The BJP manifesto also backs the idea and implementation of One Nation, One Poll. Remember, the high-level committee led by former President Ramnath Kovind has already submitted its report to the President, and the government is looking at ways to optimize the implementation of an idea like that, even as the opposition continues to oppose it. Now, how is the BJP manifesto that talks about ecotourism, that talks about drone didis and Lakpati didis, and also hostels for working women, and also Ramayana Utsav, a global Ramayana Utsav, and also Tiruvalluvar centers different from the Congress Manifesto. The Congress Manifesto has freebies. It looks at, financial doles for women specifically under the Mahalakshmi Yojana. It says that poor women, women in poor households could get up to 1 lakh per year. Now that is huge. It also talks about free apprenticeship program, which is basically right to employment. It talks about any graduate or a diploma holder coming out of college getting recruited in a company. It talks about a diversity commission, basically looking at rewarding companies that diversify our workforce. Both Congress and BJP have looked at formalizing our job sector, focusing on more jobs and quality jobs, especially for Shramik, migrant workers, and also for gig workers. Now, there is also, the BJP manifesto does not really look at financial doles, but it talks about free electricity through solar panels. Remember, the Prime Minister himself has been against the concept of revdis, but in assembly elections, we have seen even BJP sort of promise financial help, especially to women. Now that is something that the party feels it needs to do when it specifically takes on stronger Congress units or regional parties which are stronger than the BJP. But the Congress party's manifesto also talks about an important thing of challenging the 50% cap on reservation that the Supreme Court has. It also talks about a specific law centered around the life and struggles of someone like Rohit Vemula, and says that discrimination against students should not take place. There needs to be a law for that. It also talks about student scholarships. BJP, on the other hand, is focusing on continuity and governance with a lot of focus on UA, specifically expanding even the Mudra loans, which is a loan for entrepreneurs to up to 20 lakh. And like I told you, Ayushman Bharat has also been expanded. Swanidhi Yojana, which is for vendors, has also been expanded. Now, these are some of the key takeaways. This is Congress's Nyay Patra versus BJP's Sankalp Patra. We will know on the 4th of June as to whose manifesto really clicked. But while both parties are trying very hard to popularize the manifestos, it's very important to note that the symbolic importance of today is also something that the BJP has highlighted. For instance, today is Ambedkar Jayanti, so the stage had his bust, his statue. It also had visuals of Narendra Modi reaching out to several deprived sections of the society. Today also is Tamil Puttandu, which is Tamil New Year. It's also Vishu, which is the Malayali New Year. Both Kerala and Tamil Nadu will see elections in the first 2-3 phases, and it is also West Bengal New Year. So West Bengal is also key to the BJP's realm of politics. So symbolism aside, there has been a lot of insistence on welfare, governance and politics by the BJP, while the Congress has focused on specific areas like employment and inflation.